today's video, we'll be uncovering some of my essential mods I highly recommend you to have in your own mod list. These mods will ultimately enhance your overall Skyrim experience, from better FPS, quality of life mods, and a lot more. I'll do my best to keep it brief as we have a ton of mods to showcase in today's video. So without wasting any more time, let's start the video. Now, to start off, I'll be showcasing the most essential mods that everyone should have by now, as these mods aims to overall fix the base game. First, we have Unofficial Skyrim Special Edition Patch, or also known as USSEP. This is a mod that you probably already knew or even have in your mod list. If you're modding Skyrim and you haven't installed this yet, it's best to rethink about your life decisions. I'm just kidding. But what I am not joking about is that this mod is basically the father of all fixes. It's the most must-have out of every mod as it overall fixes the base game, from missing textures, NPC issues, quests, spelling errors, and a ton more. It's a mod that vanilla Skyrim should have been if Bethesda were to put more time in Skyrim before its official release.
All of this just works.
Before moving on, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. I know you might be thinking, oh, it's Raid Shadow Legends once again, a game that has no in-depth system. So I finally tried it myself to see if the misconception of Raid Shadow Legends is true. First misconception is that Raid Shadow Legends has no depth or strategy. However, Raid Shadow Legends has over 800 heroes with their own strengths and weaknesses, making it crucial when choosing a hero. There are also a ton of gameplay such as PvE, PvP, CVC, artifacts, and even clan bosses for you to choose from. Raid Shadow Legends has also been adding content every year, and the most recent one is in 2023 called Cursed City. Another misconception would be the game takes a lot of time to even achieve something. And before doing this ad, I have been playing Raid Shadow Legends time to time. Yes, it might take a while to achieve something, but like all good things, everything takes time. What's cool is that you are also able to use the auto battle feature, which I personally use when I have no time to play. And for the last misconception is that the game is pay to win. Of course, investing in any game can sometimes speed up your progress, but it's also possible to reach the end game without even spending a dime. Raid Shadow Legends has a ton of free-to-play endgame users, proving that you don't need to spend to enjoy the game. With all of these misconceptions out of the way, Raid Shadow Legends is having a party in Teleria, and all my channel viewers are invited, as Raid Shadow Legends celebrates its 5th anniversary with the Festival of Creation. This will have a month-long party that has a ton of events, tournaments, summon boost, free gifts, and a lot more. With all of these exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, now is the perfect time to join in on the action. With my special link in the description or scan my QR code, new players can get $100 worth of prizes, from epic boss killer Lady Atessa, and exclusive 5th anniversary rewards once you reach level 25. You can get these bonuses that will give you a head start on your journey. Oh, don't forget to join my clan, and hopefully we can rise to the top together. Once again, thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Moving on, we have SSE Engine Fixes, another essential foundation mod that does more bug fixing. Yes, that's Skyrim. But don't worry, it also adds a ton of more features, such as increase in overall FPS, enable achievements even though you have a modded game, and there's a lot more. The best part is, you can even disable or enable some of these features in its own file. I would recommend you to change a few to avoid crashes when playing Skyrim, such as save game max size to true and max studio to 8192. These small changes will avoid you from experiencing a ton of headache as you progress in your current playthrough. Next up, we have powerofthree tweaks. This mod has various of in-game tweaks and fixes that overall enhances the experience when playing Skyrim. Some notable ones would be enabling us to place custom map markers closer to fast travel locations when fast travel is disabled. Another one would be immediately deleting skin decals when they're marked for removal, such as removing bloody armors. And disabling sit to wait, since by default, we can only wait when we're sitting down. And lastly, one of the most important mod, especially if you plan on adding a bunch of NPCs in the world, Actor Limit Fix. Just as the name suggests, this mod fixes the limit of NPCs in a given time, from syncing of facial expression to the number of NPCs. Without the mod, you'll start to see NPCs float and have unsynced expression. This is especially true if you have a ton of mods that adds more NPCs in the game. But with this mod installed, it increases the limit that the original game had. This makes it possible to install mods that adds in more NPCs in the game world. Now time for some essential utility mods that I would recommend you to have. We have Backported Extended ESL support. With Skyrim's latest update, the only great addition that I find is Bethesda increasing the ESL record limit from 2048 to now 4096. This means that more mods that have a higher record limit can now be flagged as an ESL plugin, which then also means that we can have more mods to install without reaching the 256.esp limit when modding Skyrim. Though just a quick note, you only need to get this mod if you play on version 1.6.640 or 1.5.97. Any version above these will already automatically have this feature working. Next up, we have QUI. This mod is basically an alternate version of Add Item menu. The difference is that it's a lot more updated and works with newer Skyrim versions. I personally use this mod a lot when testing mods for a showcase, as I can quickly find the items that I need from a mod I install. And lastly, for essential utility mods, I go for Phenderix Weather Changer, a mod that is especially useful when testing different weather mods or testing different ENBs in different weather conditions. I personally do not memorize all the weather commands, so having this installed is especially useful for me. Moving on, we have a few quality of life mods that are essential to have in any playthrough. First would be Read or Take SKSE. In vanilla Skyrim, when picking up books, you are forced to read the contents of the book. But with this mod installed, you can now either read the book or take it for you to read later on. Now, to activate this feature, all you need to do is hold shift and the take interaction prompt will appear. I honestly find this useful, especially if you like to save books for later or quickly hoard a bunch of books without the need of opening the book then closing it just to do it again and again for the remaining books. Next up, we have Forget Spells. This mod basically allows you to remove spells in the magic menu to avoid spells from cluttering it when you have learned a lot of spells already. Usually, in a very long playthrough, you might have already read a ton of spell tomes, and this mod will definitely help your magic menu to look clean. All you need to do is find the spell you want to remove and press R by default, and there you go. Honestly, a must-have mod that I would recommend. Another mod that I find essential is Essential Favorites. If you feel frustrated that you accidentally sold your favorite item or accidentally dropping it, this simple SKSE mod basically prevents your favorite items from being sold, crafted, disarmed, disenchanted, or even being dropped. I find it very useful since there are times during my playthrough where I accidentally sold my favorite weapon or armor when I did not mean to. The following mod is called Auto Input Switch. This mod addresses the issue of not being able to simultaneously use both mouse and a gamepad. I frequently use both a mouse and a controller, and it was frustrating that I could not switch between the two. If you have encountered the same difficulty, I highly recommend you to get this mod as it will help solve the problem. Next, we have ConsolePlusPlus. This mod basically allows you to copy and paste commands and even saves the commands you used in a previous gaming session. Additionally, get more informative console, as this will help get additional information on NPCs and other objects when clicked while the console is open. This is especially useful for bug fixing, as you'll know the details of the object or NPC you clicked on. Now, to finish up the console part of things, would recommend you to get Console Commands Extender. This mod basically just extends and adds console commands, but I use this for a specific reason, and that's highlighting of objects when selecting while the console menu is open, making it easier for you to know if you have selected the right object or NPC. Moving on, I will now share some of my essential gameplay mods to help you have a better Skyrim experience. We have Timing is Everything SE. If you're a Skyrim veteran player, you're probably tired of having the same quest opportunity to pop out when you meet certain conditions. With this mod installed, you'll have the power to adjust the conditions when you want quests to actually start appearing. You can delay the start of Dragonborn, Dawnguard, or even Heartfire quests. To configure everything to your liking, you can simply change the conditions in the mod's MCM menu. Pretty straightforward and easy to understand. I personally would recommend having this, especially if you want a more custom experience playing Skyrim. And speaking of playing Skyrim, we have Experience. This mod has been my favorite as it introduces a significant overhaul to the in-game experience system. In vanilla Skyrim, leveling up skills directly contributes to gaining experience points. For example, improving your smithing or dual-wielding skills would grant you XP. However, this can lead to an imbalance in rapid XP gain if you decide to abuse it. With this mod installed, you now acquire XP by completing quests and exploring the world. This not only creates a more immersive and natural progression, but it also encourages you to venture further into the world and take on challenges. And by doing so, it provides a fresh and unique Skyrim experience. While it may not appeal to everyone, I highly recommend it for those seeking a different and more engaging way to play the game. Another mod worth having when playing Skyrim is Skyclimb. This mod enhances the freedom of movement in Tamriel by introducing the ability to vault and climb, allowing players to explore beyond the predetermined paths intended by the developers. With this mod installed, traveling around locations becomes easier, plus you get to have your own shortcuts when going to different locations. To activate the mod, simply approach any edge and wait for the blue marker to appear. Then, by default, press the space button to prompt the animation. Just a quick note, you can change the hotkey to whichever you prefer in the MCM menu. And lastly, I highly recommend getting JSerpa's amazing mods. These are mods that are an absolute must-haves, from fixing a bunch of dialogues to improving the overall gameplay experience. There are actually a ton of mods by JSerpa that I want to showcase, but in this video, I'll only be showcasing a few as it will make the video too long. Anyways, the first mod I'll be sharing is Take a Peek New Stealth Mechanic. Just as the name implies, this mod adds a new mechanic for players who loves to play a stealth-oriented build. When peeking through the doors, you'll now be able to see what's behind the door before even entering. This gives you the advantage of knowing if an NPC is currently behind the door. Overall, I find this mod amazing as it gives stealth-oriented characters a more in-depth experience when playing Skyrim. Another mod worth checking out is Remote Interactions. This innovative mod introduces a remarkable feature that enables players to interact with NPCs from a distance. Unlike the default game mechanics in vanilla Skyrim, where interactions with NPCs requires you to be up close. However, Remote Interactions allows players to engage with other NPCs from afar, much like in real-life scenarios. I find this mod especially useful when looking for certain NPCs as you can call them to go to you. Plus, having the ability to order food without going near the innkeeper feels immersive. Overall, definitely a must-have mod for you to try out. And that's all for today's video. There are plenty more mods that I definitely want to share, but that would be for another video or this video will be too long. So make sure to hit the subscribe and leave a like for more Skyrim content. And as always, I want to thank you and my channel members for the endless support you've all given me. Stay safe everyone and happy modding!